All right, let's go over to more Russian shenanigans, which is the Nord Stream pipeline. So there was damage to the Nord Stream pipelines, which is unprecedented. It may have been sabotage. So Sweden is holding a crisis management meeting with other public authorities over the damage to the Nord Stream pipeline. So Sweden may discuss the damage with Denmark. So I guess this piece of the pipeline that was damaged, it's right here, I guess, off of Bernholm.
Yeah, there's this island, right there.
And there's two areas where it was hit. So there's a leakage on, I guess this is Nord Stream 2 and Nord Stream 1 at the same time.
Right. So what they're basically saying is that they detected simultaneous problems were detected with both Nord Stream 2 and 1 bringing gas to Germany, right? And so both Danish and Russian sources have said to include the. I want to make sure I got this right. I think it's So this is a government, this is a Russian source. It says we cannot imagine a scenario that this is not a targeted attack. So this doesn't make, from my understanding of what Russia wants. This doesn't make a whole lot of sense for Russia to do it, right? Russia would be able to do it.
Why not? Why would they not do it?
Russia wants nothing more than essentially capitulation by Germany and to basically unsanction. All right, well, it's getting cold here. Winter has finally got here, and we're cold as shit, and we can't knit enough sweaters. So we're going to need to turn the gas back on. And Russia, you're the only game in town, and so we're going to buy your gas again. That's ultimately what Russia wants, right? And so that was the whole point. Like Nord Stream 2 was getting ready to open right before all this stuff started to happen, and so this is not to Russia's interest, right? It's also not to Germany's interest either, I don't think, because this, if Nord Stream is down, this just limits the options that they have to stay warm during the winter.
Yeah, Discord popping up. Stop messaging me on Discord, people. Motherfuckers. Distracting me. But yeah, no, obviously this would remove that incentive, right? If they can't provide them with if they wouldn't provide them with gas, then obviously that ruins their game plan, right? It ruins this. Hey, it's going to be a cold winter. We're going to starve you out. We're going to get you to pull sanctions. We're going to get you to pull back. We're going to get you to bend the knee. Because even if Russia can't win militarily, they can win economically. They can win the economic war when it comes to winter, and Europe has to bend the knee. Particularly, as we'll talk about, as their currency is fucking going down in flames. So I mean, this to me. If somebody said Greta did it, that would be hilarious. If it was some eco sabotage, like that would be fucking. Susan L said that. I'm laughing my ass off. That was a great one, Susan. But yeah, I don't think. I mean, that would be the ultimate troll. But I just can't see this as being Russian either.
Yeah, Nord Stream 2 hasn't even been used yet. And so evidently they discovered the hit.
Is it complete though? Is Nord Stream complete? Like, is the line down?
Well, right. So I think
they laid the pipe.
That's what she said.
Yes.
I can't remember exactly where they were, but I think they were basically at pressure testing and kind of final steps before going operational at the end of last year, early this year, which is when all the, in the lead up to the invasion, there were talks about, sanctions and whatnot. And that's when they started saying that we're going to delay some of the stuff with Nord Stream 2. And then the Russian invaded Ukraine. And then that's when Nord Stream 2 basically never got started. So it's just kind of interesting that, Poland is actually an
that would be really interesting. So someone said like it was Greta or Poland. If it was Poland, like imagine if it's Polish commandos that are secretly wanting to force this, hunches like the ghost of Snake Island have had revenge.
Well, that's so this is another thing, right? So Ukraine, probably this would not be against Ukraine's interests. In fact, anything that keeps the war going potentially is something that they would be interested in.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not saying that they did it. I mean, I don't think they have the capability to do it. I mean, the other question
you don't think Poland has the capability to do that? I mean, this is their maritime border here.
No,
you don't think they could come out here and do that?
No, Ukraine is what I was saying didn't have the capability.
Ukraine.
Now, so there's two ways to look at a problem like this. A, who's interested in the outcome, right? Does it serve the interests, right? This is kind of like a crime, right? Maybe like a murder or
like
whatever.
Clue. Who would do it? Where's the motive?
And and so do they have a motive and do they have the ability, right? And so, this is the kind of this industrial sabotage is pretty complex. And so this is not, there's not a lot of countries out there that have the capabilities to do this kind of in the cover of darkness and to get away without leaving a whole lot of evidence. So it's kind of interesting, and I mean, ultimately the answer is going to be we don't know who did this.
I'm sorry, but student of history for 2 made me laugh. That was me. That as you say, it was me, Greta, or Poland, or wild card Finland. I'm pretty sure the Finnish PM is the female that was caught clubbing and
That's right.
tried to play it off as misogyny for her getting caught clubbing. It's like, I think the problem is that you're a politician who's out partying during Rona, as I believe their country had restrictions, and meanwhile, you're having budget problems. There's all these other economic problems, but you're out clubbing. Really, really, really interesting there. But yeah, Finland would be an interesting wild card. If you did it, student, send me pics where it didn't happen.
Now, the idea is that anything bad that happens to Europe ultimately helps the WEF. So, that would be your ultra tinfoil hat.
The Klaus Schwab agenda. So it's kind of helped out by Europe getting fucked.
Yeah, like the chat, the guy in the chat says PMCs hired by Klaus Schwab. I mean, so that would be the super tinfoil hat version of potentially what could happen. That being said, if I know of a guy who writes a great series of books about this kind of stuff, Mike Bennett, and the Warlock is the kind of guy who would do something like this. And so I'm actually gonna hit him up in the DMs and say, hey, so what do you think? This sounds like something you'd do in one of your books.
Yeah. All right. So listen, a lot of people are talking about the cold winter, the energy policy, nuclear plants were coming back, but at the same time, I believe somebody said that December 2022 is the actual date for Germany to shut down all their nuclear plants. I believe is that still accurate? That they're going to shut down their nuclear plants in December. Do you recall?
Yeah, I think that the nuke plants that were getting shut down they've decided not to shut them down. I think there are some nuclear power plants that are scheduled for some maintenance, but I don't know if we're referring to the same one.
Yeah, so here we go. Here's the article, which is Germany halts closure of 2 nuclear plants until April 2023.
Yeah, man, it's getting cold, and they need power.
No, welcome. Right? Get out of here. Yeah. So according to Sanal Patel, apparently they're going to keep them through winter of this year. Then after that, they're going to take them off the grid as part of the Atomic Energy Act. So we'll see. I mean, that could still be there could still be an election an overturning of that. That would be very interesting. But obviously the decommissioning is going on widely over Germany. I believe they only have a very few operating. So one here, one here, one here. So 2. So I guess 1 in Bavaria, Baden-Württemberg, and I believe this is Saxony. I believe it's up there in Saxony. So yeah, a couple plants, not a lot of power, but still significant when everything matters during